Hello, my friends. My name is Sith. Welcome to the new portal for upright men and women. Stay with me as we continue on our journey to true enlightenment and bear just one thing in mind. I take no Sith. I just keep Sith real. Guys, this is one of the most brutal, one of the most heart-wrenching stories that I have ever had to carry. And it concerns the death of two Jamaican citizens. Two Jamaican citizens were shot dead out in the Caribbean Sea. Now, this is fairly unusual, but it has happened before, except on the previous occasion, it was said to concern Jamaican doing illicit trading with Haiti. However, this case seems to be different. Some of the things that are particularly different in this case is that the persons who were shot were not believed to have been killed in a conflict with any robbers or thieves or even police. They were said to have been shot by Coast Guard representatives of the perfect parasite. Now, guys, I'm going to have to be extremely careful with what I say here, because you guys know that them have them eye on me, and I've been persecuted for the past at least 2 years. Little YouTuber like me, from the time I had about 3,000 subscribers on The Advisor, I have been persecuted 80% of my time. And I don't want to lose the monetization on here. So, most of you sensible people, pick sense out of nonsense about what I'm saying. First thing I want you to do is to take a look at this young man. His name is Carl Walker. And Carl Walker is a resident of St. Elizabeth. Carl Walker just turned 19 on the 2nd of October this year. We have just found out in the past 24 hours that about 10 days ago, Carl Walker and another Jamaican associate, Garth Henry, had been shot dead by Coast Guards of the perfect parasite. They were said to be one of about 9 boats so far that representatives, Coast Guard, or military representatives of the perfect parasite just came upon them, machine gunned them, accused them of being drug traffickers for Venezuela, and then they blew up the boats, raising all evidence of both whatever quote-unquote drugs that was on it, erasing all evidence of the murders because they blew up the boats, sending it to the bottom of the ocean with the bodies and with any quote-unquote drugs that were on board. And the people who were killed were labeled as being citizens of Venezuela. And then we hear big news in the press about blowing up of drug boats and the killing of citizens of that country that the perfect parasite is now trying to invade. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to go into a lot more about young 19-year-old Carl Walker, because I spoke to his mother. Carl Walker is 19 years old. I hear that he graduated from Rossi's High School last year, gotten some CXCs, and was supposed to be enrolled in Heart for September. However, because of the course that he was doing, or that he wanted to do, the facilities for that were not available until January of next year, 2026. So, he decided that in the meantime, he was going to help out on a fishing boat. I spoke to his mother, Irma Watson, and Irma Watson says that her son is the last of her 4 children. She said that the bigger kids were willing to support him and help him until his course comes up in January. But he didn't want handouts. So what he did, he decided to help out on a fishing boat. And that fishing boat, I hear, was connected to the White House fishing village. So he used to go there and help out and land till he started going out to sea. She said that as far as she knows, she said she don't know the boat exactly, but she trusted her son and she knows she grew him well. So she didn't think any of it when he said he was going out to sea on a fishing boat. She said that when he's out at sea, he communicates with one of her brothers, which is his uncle, via a Starlink phone. So they would know where he was, or at least know he is safe. Because he's the baby of the family, they just wanted to know he was alright. And he had one of those Starlink phones that he used to keep in touch with his family through his uncle, which lives in the same community. According to her, the last time the family was in touch with Carl was on Wednesday, the 22nd of October. And the last conversation they had was that there was a Coast Guard boat which had been following them from a distance for about the past half an hour or so. And they don't know if the boat was going to come towards them or if it was going to turn away. But at the time, the uncle said he didn't say exactly where they were or how far they were out at sea or close in which waters, whether they were in close to Jamaica or wherever. But the fact that the Coast Guard boat was there means they might be somewhere further out at sea. Anyway, Carl Walker took this picture when he saw a smaller craft which came off the bigger boat and was heading directly towards them, and he took this picture and sent it via the same satellite phone to his uncle. And they say from that Wednesday they haven't heard anything from Carl or from the crew. And they were wondering what was happening and they couldn't hear anything. Now, I'm going to let you hear how the family find out that young Carl Walker is dead. But first, let me get to the other victim, the other Jamaican victim. His name is Garth Henry. Garth Henry is primarily an events promoter. He would keep parties here and there, and he has a little bar, and he would rent out the land and the bar to whoever would need a venue to hold their own dances, and then he would rent out his music system, his sound system to anybody who would need it. But after COVID came, to what I'm hearing, after COVID hit, he wasn't able to do that. When the dancehall thing slackened off because of COVID, he and another friend invested in a boat, and they used that boat to go out to sea and do fishing. Because I heard that his father before him was a fisherman and that he used to do it as a child. But, he didn't stick to that. But when the going got tough, the tough got going. And with that investment now, he will go on the boat sometimes, not every time. But I hear that he's the one who got the little position for Carl Walker. So far, we don't know how many people were originally on the boat, because that question never seemed to come up until I was speaking to Carl's mother, Irma Watson. So here is how they got to find out because they have been trying to call from the Coast Guard incident when he pointed out that the Coast Guard were heading towards them. They spent several days trying to link back, but they couldn't get a link to the phone that Carl Walker had. It wasn't until the other day that they got a phone call from Colombia, and the person spoke with a Jamaican accent and said, "We are in Colombia." It was 3 Jamaicans on the boat, but there were actually 7 people in all. And it was he who told them that both Garth Henry and Carl Walker were machine gunned, and that he, 3 others, were taken to Colombia. He said that they bombed the boat and sank it, and then 3 days later they took them to Colombia and told the Colombian government to take charge of them. Now, let me ask, so far it is believed that 9 boats have been shot up and a myriad amount of citizens of foreign countries have been killed in Caribbean waters. At this moment, we don't know exactly where the boat was when it was shot up, whether it was, we just don't know. But if it was a drug boat, why you don't just arrest everybody, take them into custody, take them to the United States and try them, or take them to anywhere and go try them and produce the evidence? I think the boat with the bodies and the evidence that they were trafficking drugs. No, I'm not saying they weren't trafficking drugs, I don't know. But what is the purpose of machine gunning human beings? Using them as scapegoats because you want to overthrow the government of another country. And is willing to machine gun any number of innocent and or guilty people, to use them as a pretext, say why you need to go to a country and overthrow its legitimately elected government. The way I look at it, these men don't have to be even anywhere near the country that they are trying to overthrow. When the perfect parasite want to have its way, all it have to do is just go out there, take some boat, kill off some of the people them on it, describe them as Colombian drug pushers, get the narrative going so we can have the justification for go overthrow the government there and take over the country there. So it seemed like these people that were sent just had a mission to do, and any coolie a coolie. Them not care what nation you're from or what your duty is out there or purpose out there. They had a job to do, and the price in human life was of no significance to the greater aims of the perfect parasite. So them could have picked them up anywhere. Because remember, that is open sea. So there is no reference point where you can say, see a lighthouse over there, so, and the lighthouse that belong to this country. Or see the mountain range there. From look at that mountain range, me know say they are close to that country. This is open waters. So them can take any boat, shoot it up anywhere. Set them find it in Venezuelan waters, and nobody can prove otherwise. But you see the point? Now, this is something that should cause an international incident. Now, some of you might have never heard of the term international incident, but let me just give you a brief idea of what an international incident is and why, even though this should be such, classified as such, we'll not hear anything come out of it. An international incident is a dispute between 2 or more nations, often stemming from an event that creates tension, conflict, or diplomatic problems. Such incidents can escalate beyond their initial scope and draw global attention even if the originating countries don't want them to. Now, if Jamaica go lick out against the perfect parasite or machine gunning its unarmed citizens, I think the perfect parasite going to plan a coup per we too. Now, you don't really wonder why me call this place the perfect parasite? A place that don't believe in democracy. Democracy mean elect who me want to elect, because if you don't elect who me want to elect, you undermine them, subvert them, overthrow them, or assassinate the leader that you democratically elected. I'm going to punish the entire country because how dare Uno elect somebody who now got turn over all the wealth and give me. How dare Uno? And next thing though, this is going to be extremely difficult to prove. And here is why. The Jamaican who is now in Colombia and trying to get back home, is extremely afraid. He doesn't want his name to be revealed, and he doesn't want any details about him to come to the surface, because he's afraid that these people, if them know see him, them gonna come back after him. And he knows they have very long tentacles. He only felt it right to inform the parents of Carl about the incident. And why it was possible is because before they took him off the boat, he took the phone that Carl had, the satellite phone, Starlink phone, and they in turn did not take that phone from him. So that is how he managed to call St. Elizabeth about yesterday or the day before, and use the satellite phone that Carl had to call the satellite phone that Carl's uncle in Jamaica had. Because as you all know, cell phones and landlines are not working in St. Elizabeth now. Not even internet or anything. So had it not been for this person being let off in Colombia, who had the sense to make this call, his mother would die and not know the fate of her son. Guys, I know I'm treading in very dangerous waters here because you know them out for me. But sometimes sacrifices has to be made. But believe me, to machine gun unarmed men, regardless of what they were up to, and just do it to create a narrative and to give you to try to use it as part of a justification to take over a sovereign nation because you want the resources between its ground, and to be able to do that with impunity. It is sad. So here's the thing now. Irma Watson doesn't want her name to be shown. The man who conveyed the information to her from Colombia, he might not even want to come back to Jamaica. He might not want to say anything about this to anybody. So even if the Jamaican authorities would have wanted to investigate this, they really have nothing to go on apart from the words that were related to them, which is a third party source. So nothing must go so. The mother, Irma, Miss Irma, them call her. She's keeping strong and is hoping that it's a hoax. But she says she can't say how it's a hoax when the satellite phone is in the hands of somebody else. Why would somebody call her and prank her like that? She knows her son not going to do that. That is why she's sure that her son is no longer with us. As for Garth Henry, he is known to the family. Not really as a friend, but as somebody they know. And they have also passed on the information that they got. But here is one thing. The man in Colombia, he says that him going to dash with the phone because him don't know if them going to can use the phone and track him and get back to him. And a satellite phone, like the Starlink phone, it can be tracked anywhere on the face of the earth. So they won't even get to him, and he might not even come back to Jamaica. So this case may die where it is. But I just feel it is my duty, since me know nobody else now go put out that story, that I carry it so that people can see exactly what is going on in this world that we live in. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I just have to keep it real.